That's all the intro you're getting. It's 2020, everyone knows that the year was pure shit. But despite that, if you look at the title of this video, you'll see it is about music. So, musically, how was this year? It was pretty good. There were some trends that weren't a surprise at all, such as TikTok taking over in the wake of radio's collapse as people were in their cars less. And then there were some trends that just came out of nowhere, like the sheer amount of country music that's on this year-end list. Or the fact that at the beginning of the year, most of the big hits were all retro throwbacks to either the 70s or the 80s, which we're still seeing permeate in pop right now. But enough about that. If you looked at the title even closer, you'll notice this is about the worst hit songs of 2020, and unfortunately there are way more to choose from than last year. But it was still pretty easy to narrow it down to just 10 songs that I consider to be the worst in 2020. And just for reference, my requirement for a hit song is anything that debuted on the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 for 2020. So with that out of the way, I think it's time to get started.
I said certified freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word, make that pullout game weak.
I swear, I'm not doing this just because the artist in question is a monster. But trashing him is such a fun thing to do. How did we get here? In 2020, where Chris fucking Brown is still able to have a career. People get canceled for literally the smallest aggressions, and yet a domestic abuser, constant stalker, guy with clear anger management issues, and generally a bad person, is bigger than he has ever been. Part of this is because after the assault in 2009, Chris Brown made a pretty smart transition from his Loverboy pop shtick to a down-and-dirty hip-hop influenced R&B. He may be too impure for white soccer moms to listen to in their minivans, but hip-hop radio is more than comfortable to defend toxic assets. After a horrible experiment to collaborate with a walking penis joke Lil Dicky, he started switching back into a more relaxed, pure R&B sex jam mode. My first exposure to this was last year when he made No Guidance, a song about finding a girl who has everything right and grooming her to be yours. Now, I trashed that song last year for being pretty bad and kinda disgusting. But Go Crazy is essentially just that, but somehow even worse. For starters, Chris Brown can't even stay on topic, as the third verse has him mentioning other women.
Hoes on my phone when they find out that I'm rich, then they switch. When they say I'm choosing on my bitch, top down, gotta doing donuts on a dick, yeah.
Donuts on that dick. What a romantic expression. Chris Brown's word choice isn't the only thing throwing off the mood, there's also the production. Now, when you're making a song about how this girl is special and you want her to go wild on you, just really set the mood for her. Your natural instinct for this relaxing, passionate, personal song is some clanking thin mallets. Every time I even come close to liking the groove, the mallet line just pulls me out, and all I can think about is the ugly, painstakingly unsexy forced mallets that just hit on every eighth note, making the song feel way more rigid than it's supposed to be. Okay. I'm stalling. The mallet line is crippling, and Chris Brown has no vocal talent, so he drenches himself in way too much unflattering autotune. But that's not my main problem with the song. That would be Young Thug. Young Thug is a very unique case in the rap scene because I do not view him as a rapper. Looking back on what got him recognized and what has gotten him critical acclaim, it was his outlandish slurring of phrases that practically made him sound like an incomprehensible drunk trombone. In a genre where words are the foundation, I'd rather consider Young Thug to be excluded from being a rapper and instead be talked about more as an instrument. And as an instrument, I think he's one of the most interesting artists making music. His loose and flamboyant image lends him to make fun, avant-garde tracks using sounds no one would ever think of, and whenever Thugger would allow others to listen to his words, they're the most hilarious, fucked up things you'd hear.
She stuck on a dick on the plane and I just call her airhead. Woo!
All of this praise must be built up for Sir Jeffrey, because Go Crazy is his absolute worst.
I've been overseas going crazy. I could tell you love it when we made up. Black and gray diamonds like
listen to this. Young Thug is boring? This soul-sucking excuse of a track has drained the most unique voice in the mainstream of everything that people liked from him. Without his trademark slosh pronunciation and wailing, Young Thug in his high-pitched whine sounds pathetic. It's the exact opposite thing you should project in R&B. His content is also bad in that it's standard. No crazy verses about him going to kill people who mess with his wallet, or calling your girl's vagina a fire hydrant. I remember last year when I bashed this line in the London for being disgusting.
Yeah, I can charge him like a Dodge and a demon. Got your bride in the garage eating semen.
I'd take that over this waste of time. Shame on you, Young Thug. That's what you get for working with a woman beater.
Everybody think you shy, but I know you a freak, little baby.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
Well, this is a lot lower than I thought it would be.
Fuck you, and you. I hate your friends and they hate me too.
I remember when I first heard this song all the way back in September of 2019, and I thought that this was the worst thing to ever exist. To catch new viewers up to speed, this song is called Hot Girl Bummer, a co-opting of the phrase Hot Girl Summer, made famous by Megan Thee Stallion, and is about the unlikable toxic trash monster known as blackbear, pointing out all of the ways that the culture of young adult party life seeked out by the aforementioned Hot Girl Summers is actually horrible. The song clearly knows that it is ruining the fun of others, and honestly, that might be able to work. Not all of us are happy, optimistic people all the time, and sometimes shitting on others feels good. This is completely undermined in Hot Girl Bummer because blackbear is inserting himself into the narrative. He starts bashing all the young kids who go out every weekend, take drugs, and have sex. But then he talks about how he's doing that too. That one decision changes the entire feel of this song from concern trolling to pure jealousy. Most emotions can work in a song, but I don't think jealousy is one of them. Like here he's just saying fuck you because he's not invited to anything.
I hate your friends and they hate me too.
Well, that would explain things. You can hear that sentiment in the instrumentation. In Toxic Reject songs such as I Fall Apart, the sound is more stripped back and darkened in order to emphasize the toxic depression the artist is going through. Hot Girl Bummer has an actual ramp up with guitar amps and chimes that stop and come back to a standard pop trap groove. It's trying to be a normal song that would get played on the radio, and it worked, apparently.
And you want me to change? Forget you.
My main takeaway from all of this is that he's calling out everyone else's shit, but he's also calling himself shit. So who is this song for? Those people don't want to listen to a song where you're calling them degens, especially the woman.
This that who's all there. I'm pulling up with an emo chick that's broken.
And why would blackbear enjoy this if he's clearly jealous about being a 29-year-old emo reject? It's only this low because while the instrumentation is counterproductive to the toxic atmosphere being presented in the lyrics, it's not horrible, and I've heard way worse than not horrible coming from this guy. Let's just move on.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
Every year, there seems to be a whole new batch of complete amateurs in rap that all blow up out of nowhere and become huge. For one song. And then fade into nowhere. In the past couple of years, the process for these artists to get a hit song has been simplified due to the dominance of Vine, Musical.ly, and currently TikTok. Since the platforms only play a sliver of the song, it's not imperative to do quality control for it, and instead just create a moment to hook the audience in. This means that every year there's at least one of these types of songs that is terrible.
Your mama a party girl, she just wanna have fun too. They say you ain't wifey type, but I don't care, I want you.
Party Girl is a mind-numbingly, blatantly dumb song. And I don't mean dumb like the fun, mindless party jam way. No, this is way too slow and quiet to be that. It's just stupid. The reason why all of these artists never get a second hit is because they are too generic to make any lasting impact. Branding yourself and getting people to notice unique characteristics that differentiate you from all the other rappers is how artists that might have been one-hit wonders, like DaBaby, with his fun, aggressive delivery, got fame past his first big song. What's the point of listening to the new slow, mumbly rapper when there's already 500 of them in the mainstream? Stay Solid Rocky is this exact mold of rappers, but he does actually have one unique characteristic that makes him different. He is an atrocious rapper. He flubs rhymes like normal rappers, but it's so noticeable and obvious that you just recognize how much he does it throughout the song.
She drinking for locals, I can't get with those.
I see this so many times, so I guess I have to bring it up to all the aspiring rappers out there. If you're going to have an awkward bar, don't try to fix it by extending the last word to fit the meter. It always sounds worse. Just rewrite it. Notice how I haven't brought up the content yet, because it's just the same disposable topics of liking drugs, guns, and alcohol that are in every rap song. Except this time he's doing it with a girl? I'd care about it more if Stay Solid Rocky didn't sound completely bored and stoned out during the song. It's like an attempt at effortless charisma where you don't have to try to be good. Snoop Dogg is the pinnacle of this style of delivery. But the difference between Snoop Dogg and Stay Solid Rocky, and I can't believe I have to specify this, but Snoop Dogg actually has charisma, and he doesn't have to try because everyone knows he's already so cool. Stay Solid Rocky doesn't have any confidence in his voice or projection, or even a lasting legacy to carry him. The lack of effort just sounds like laziness. Luckily for us, these artists go as often as they come, and looking at his lack of further singles, it seems like he's already gone.
Don't be scared to party.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
Like I said before, TikTok was super influential to the musical trends of 2020. But you know what was even more influential? Nothing. Oh my god, if you guys haven't noticed, every song that blows up on TikTok that isn't completely R-rated gets picked up and put on radio as soon as possible. It's gotten so bad that pure instrumental tracks are getting stolen by formerly successful artists who want to ride the trend into a career revival. Apparently, the coronavirus isn't the only plague brought to the world, as we have to deal with the possible second coming of Jason Derulo. Oh wait, I'm not pronouncing that right. Jason Derulo! The story of Savage Love is actually very interesting, so I want to tell you the creation of this song. It starts with the title, Savage Loved, Lack Siren Beat. The words after the hyphen are from the instrumental track Lack Siren Beat, made by 17-year-old New Zealander Josh 685. This was the song that blew up on TikTok, and Josh 685 was supposedly in talks with many other artists for sampling rights, including Jason Derulo. However, in what legal experts refer to as a dick move, Jason Derulo just said fuck it and released the song without permission or originally crediting Josh. This insanely bad move is made worse because the instrumental is actually bad? I don't want to cyberbully someone who's younger than me, but this is just not meant for a pop song. It fit perfectly with Addison Rae dance challenges, but not in a bitchy simp anthem. The lyrics are about Jason Derulo being dumped because he was just a booty call, but he is so obsessed with her that instead of being sad or angry, He seems to be in denial and turns to begging her to stay. It's so annoying. The lax siren beat doesn't work because it makes Jason Derulo sound like he's a child who's taunting someone and makes him seem immature and pathetic. His voice is also really bad. I'm actually baffled why he chooses to use that whiny, unpleasant falsetto so much when he's literally a classical opera singer.
I need you tonight.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, musical theater, Jason Derulo. No. Nope. Don't tell me the Jason Derulo comeback is actually because he starred in Cats. We couldn't get Taylor Swift's indie pop masterpiece to produce a long-staying hit, but her co-cat Jason Derulo can steal a song and get his first #1 in decades. This world just isn't fair.
Girl, you could use me, 'cause I still want that, your savage love.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
Baby, wanna get in this class.
In just a short couple of years, Post Malone has gone from a laughingstock to the biggest artist in the United States. A lot of that has to do with how he abandoned his roots of sad emo rap and moved into pop, rock, and fun bouncy hip-hop. The genre-crossing smash success of Hollywood's Believing proved this was true. But, unfortunately, there still is a demand for sad white boys who want to whine about women over trap beats. And since Post Malone is gone from that mold, someone's going to have to fill it.
My last made me feel like I would never try again, but when I saw you, I felt something I never felt.
Bad. That's honestly all I can say. Like, writing this entry is such a chore because whenever I write entries for songs, I listen to them over and over again. But listening to this? It's just so dull and miserable. For a song consisting of one verse, it feels so much more dragged on and longer than what should be possible. This is just a carbon copy of any track from Stoney, which is the farthest thing from a compliment. It has the same loud trap skitters with a depressed loser spouting his thoughts on women, but for all of the horribly toxic elements and completely horrible excuses for rapping, the one thing I can say is that each of the songs had a consistent message that was backed up by the lyrics. Congratulations, he's celebrating. I fall apart. He's depressed from a breakup. White Iverson, Post Malone wants to desecrate basketball. And with a simple title like Falling, you think you'd get that out of Trevor Daniel, but you do not. The lyrics of the song are about him hitting on a girl, because she makes you happy. You would never be able to tell this unless you read the lyrics straight from Genius.com. What you would get is a headache when Trevor Daniel tries to croon, does a rap switch up, and whatever this is.
Like I'm out of my mind, 'cause I can't get enough. Only one that I give my time, 'cause I got eyes for ya. Might make an exception for ya, 'cause I've been feeling ya. Think I might be out of my mind, I think that you're the one.
That part right there, that bridge, is one of the worst things I have ever heard in a song. The disgusting misuse of multitracking, having Trevor Daniel in the middle of his normal register, but then putting a demented pitched up auto-tune wail above it, is the definition of unpleasant. Maybe TikTok was a mistake after all.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
To spice up my videos, I decided to create a simple intro, making it a bit more professional. The song that is used during those 10 seconds, and that's playing in the background right now, is classical 16th century Baroque piece called Pachelbel's Canon. I chose that song because it's a pleasant, easygoing listen that can smoothly introduce the channel to new viewers. It's also from the 16th century and therefore isn't subject to copyright claims. Since the song came out before 1925, it is public domain, which means that I don't have to deal with some record label claiming my video for including it. This also means that someone can copy the melody and use it in their song without having to buy the rights to the sample, or even acknowledging that they stole it.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not.
It's been 10 years now since Maroon 5 went full sellout mode, and every year since then they've been masters at riding trends in order to secure hits. In 2012 they got a pop rapper on their song, in 2013 and 2014 they made darker songs, in 2015 they had a retro-influenced hit, in 2017 they got Future to collab with them, and in 2018 they literally tried trap. But now, in 2020, when music is fragmented into 50 different subgenres all vying for popularity, and all not being friendly to pop radio, what are Adam Levine and the gang supposed to do? Without a blatant style to copy, Maroon 5 just sounds hollow. And I mean that. Very literally. All that's going on in this song is a guitar loop, and unlike Girls Like You, this one's faintly in the background and adds no presence to the song. Just a reminder that Maroon 5 is a band with 7 different members, and it sounds like this. But it's always been centered around one sole member, which is horrible here since this is easily Adam Levine's worst vocal performance ever. That's a bold claim for a man making music since 2002, and in those 18 years has sounded like this. Adam Levine has sounded unbearable before, but never has he sounded like his vocal cords are slashed. This scratchy, raspy voice that's struggling to hit middle notes sounds like a pathetic attempt of reggae over the hints of guitar, making this the second worst Maroon 5 reggae song of all time. You know, you can get multiple takes on a song, right? It's like a dog with cancer that wants to be put down. That's how miserable Adam Levine sounds. Maroon 5 looks like they're on their way out as their latest single flopped, and pop radio seems to be importing country stars. So unless Adam Levine wants to start wearing spurred boots and a cowboy hat, this shriveled, desperate excuse of a song might be their last impact. And that would be a horrible memory to leave people with.
Memories bring back your.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Gorgeous, make them drop dead, you a killer.
I like to think that this list is a true representation of what I personally believe to be the worst songs of the year. But that doesn't mean I don't listen to other people's opinions. I was perfectly content with this song's existence. You know, it doesn't seem that bad, seems kind of pleasant. But then I saw a single tweet that changed my mind. I don't remember who tweeted it or I'd bring it up on screen, but the point that they brought up was that Intentions by Justin Bieber is just a Train song. That just shattered my mind and made me do an entire double take, because it's true. Train has always been famous for having lyrics that are so strange in their awfulness that you can't really believe a sane human wrote them. From saying I'm so gangster, I'm so thug, to comparing your love to a drive-by shooting. Train appears to hold the motto, whenever you think we can't write worse, we prove you wrong. Intentions gives me that exact same feeling of an alien who's trying their hardest to understand human emotions. So, with that in mind, let's count down the top 5 worst lyrics in Intentions by Justin Bieber.
Got that ring, just like Toronto.
What an excellent way to just date this song.
Heart full of equity, you're an asset.
I know a lot of child stars like Justin Bieber have a bunch of songwriters strewn in from corporate, but that doesn't mean that corporate itself is writing lyrics. Heart full of equity, you're an asset. Did they literally get the accountants from RBMG to make this?
Shout out to your mom and dad for making you. Staying in a vision, they did a great job raising you.
Just a reminder, Intentions is supposed to be uplifting to this girl, not make her creeped out by some guy awkwardly shout out her parents for raising her.
Stay in the kitchen cooking up, cut your own bread. Whip it.
The tone of the song makes no sense. It's supposed to be all about her and how she's a strong woman, but that gets soiled by a guy telling this girl to stay in the kitchen. It's simultaneously progressive and regressive.
Second to none, you got the upper hand now. Don't need a sponsor, no, you're the brand now.
Nope. Apparently they got marketing to write this. I genuinely don't know if I should be angry or just laugh my ass off at these baffling lines. Are any of these actually romantic? No. Who would think being called a brand is flirtatious? There's also a guest verse from Quavo. Unfortunately, it's not funny bad, just generic saying nothing and wasting time bad. Pretty standard for a Quavo guest verse on a pop song. If Twitter keeps ruining songs like this, I may just have to uninstall it. Just like I wish someone would uninstall the song from the planet.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
Sometimes, you only need to hear a song once to know it's bad.
Yeah, you got that yummy, that yummy, that yummy, yummy.
Yummy truly was a Titanic-level disaster. Or was it? On paper, it was a first single from an album by one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, which debuted at, well, almost number one, and was so mind-bogglingly horrible that it tanked the entire album cycle. Look What You Made Me Do had this exact same effect, but unlike that 12 Carl pileup, Yummy is somehow boring. I literally have no idea how a sex jam called Yummy, which has the disgusting lyric, roll my eyes back in my head, make my toes curl, yeah yeah, has the possibility to be boring. But the sound is so artificial, and Justin Bieber gives no emotion in his performance. Look, when it comes to R&B, I always prefer a more natural and warm instrumentation, since they can do a better job of making it sound real and sensual. So, the slow trap skitters and stretched out backing effects on the chorus, they already had me fighting an uphill battle. Then there's the cheap rinky-dink motel beat that was straight out stolen right from Hotline Bling. That beat works for Drake because he's over-exaggerating and being funny with his drunken delivery. Justin Bieber's trying to play this seriously. It's like taking the beat from Eat It, yes, the Weird Al version, not the actual Michael Jackson song, and using it for a real song. Now, for the second point, another key feature you need to have in R&B to make a good song is charisma. If you want to be perceived as a master at sex, you're going to have to convince me somehow. And since I can't be pounded by Justin Bieber, he's going to have to serenade me in singing and lyrics, which he doesn't even come close to pulling off. From start to finish, Justin Bieber shows no emotion, and just like on Intentions, the lyrics don't sound human.
50-50, love the way you split it. 100 racks on me, spin it, babe. Light a match, get lit it, babe.
It's like a 12-year-old white kid who only listens to mainstream rap tried making his first song. There's the references to racks and hoes, but in the most awkward phrasing and unthreatening presentation. But of course, what caught everyone's attention the first time they listened to it is that chorus.
Yeah, you got that yummy, that yummy, that yummy, yummy.
This level of lyrical detail and creative writing expression is just begging for a William Shatner interpretation. Yeah, you got that yummy yum, that yummy yum, that yummy yummy. You stay flexing on me. The cheaper production, bland expression, inhuman writing, and general awkwardness makes me question why this was even made. There must have been people during the recording process who heard Justin Bieber sing that he's got that yummy yum, and immediately regretted all their life decisions. Luckily for us, Justin Bieber has burned his unholy desires for the yummy yummy, and is making clean, family-friendly Christian music. That's also bad, but at least it's a step up from this song that lacks any form of taste. No pun intended.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak.
When it comes to worst songs of any given year, there's a lot I have to consider. The production, singing, lyrics, etc. But certain elements are going to have more of an impact than others. A song may be completely embarrassing or bland, but the worst thing a song can be, to me, is arrogant.
Bitches, we the best music.
I'm officially done putting up with Drake's bullshit.
Bitches calling my phone like I'm locked up non-stop. From the plane to the fucking helicopter, yeah.
Let's start by setting the record. The song Pop Star may be by DJ Khaled and only featuring Drake, but this isn't a DJ Khaled song, because he doesn't have songs. Does he write anything, produce anything, contribute whatsoever other than his trademark catchphrases thrown in as an introduction? Nope. None of the blame on this song goes to DJ Khaled. Instead, Drake is the entire reason I get so pissed off listening to Pop Star. Drake is by far and away the biggest artist of my lifetime. If you don't believe me, here's a mind-boggling statistic. From his debut in 2009, he stayed on the Billboard Hot 100 every single week for 8 consecutive years. It took until 2017 for him to finally not be on the Billboard Hot 100 for a week. This massive milestone has proven to be quite influential in the rap scene, as most popular rappers are now prioritizing quantity over quality, which has proven to burn out artists since producing 3 albums a year is going to take a lot of effort, and since you're making 3 albums a year and 50 guest verses, there's not going to be a lot of time for quality control. Drake should be ashamed for pioneering this poisonous mindset, but instead he lavishes it. In the past 2 years, he hasn't even debuted a new album, but continues to have a dozen hits, including this cheap hand-me-down given to DJ Khaled probably just to get him to shut up. You can tell even Drake doesn't want to be here since his voice sounds like a bad hangover throughout the entire song. I'm baffled as to why he chose to sound like this. What emotion is he trying to convey? Constipation? The lyrics just betray the entire idea of rap. I've started to become way more forgiving towards the new crowd of popular rappers that just brag about their whips and their chains and flex their wealth. Like, the idea of grinding your way from the bottom to the top is ingrained in rap culture, and showing your success is a way of highlighting the climb you've made. It would be like getting mad at screamo music for being loud, or country music for excluding black people. But Drake crosses a line. He talks about all of the luxury he has in such a dickish manner, and doesn't even try to bring up his start from the bottom or any sense of humility. It's so clear from the title being Pop Star that he's given up on trying to be a credible rapper and wants to be recognized in the world of the elite. Especially with this line.
Look, Ariana, Selena, my visa. It can take as many charges as it needs to, my girl.
At first I thought he was just hitting on them, but then I realized he wants to fit in with the uber elite in the pop world like Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, I guess. I don't really get her being mentioned, but Ariana Grande I completely understand trying to suck up to. The song is about Drake flexing his visas, helicopters, expensive drinks, ability to be a misogynist. This song is just the guy's version of Seven Rings. But that line about trying to show off his ability to fly women wherever they want isn't the bottom of the barrel. Here's the worst line of not only this song, but probably the whole year.
Man, how the fuck 2468. Watch his factory so they appreciate.
Wow. Remember what I said about not even trying to be a rapper? I wonder what the hip-hop world is going to think when the biggest rapper uses a literal nursery rhyme in a top 5 hit. This song is lazy. So lazy that Drake couldn't even be bothered to lip sync along in the video, instead relying on Justin Bieber, who I now feel bad for because I have to put him on the list for the 3rd time in a row. You made me feel bad for Justin Bieber. How is that even possible? So yeah, this arrogant, lazy, aggravating, elitist trash bin of a song is terrible. But it's not quite the worst this miserable year has to offer. But before we get to what topped the list, here are some songs that didn't quite make it onto the proper top 10.
And Shorty got the fatty. Shorty be catching mood swings. I nutted on the covers.
She the definition of a bad bitch stoler. I'm the definition of a bandit.
I am no fan of Steal Your Girl songs, and this is possibly the most blunt when it comes to that subject.
Where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that?
This song sludges on for 4 minutes and 21 seconds, and I think Drake says about one good line.
You one of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody.
Ignoring the fact that this is a 41-year-old man trying to catcall a girl at a bar, does anyone else notice the complete awkwardness in the transition from the pre-chorus to the chorus? He starts the phrase off in his normal low that was present in the verses, but then it just unnaturally transitions to a roaring high point. It sounds like they just changed the volume in post, like what I'm doing right now.
I wish I never met your ass. Sometimes it be like that.
Kane Brown seems to be pulling a Taylor Swift when it comes to his sudden transition to fully embracing pop. Unfortunately, those pseudo-country guitars give the song no groove, and it kind of turns out to be this generic mush that exists purely for radio fodder. The title being called Be Like That also gives me How Do You Do Fellow Kids vibes.
Walk 'em down, walk 'em down, walk 'em down.
I just can't take this song seriously. NLA Choppa doing that fake dog sound. It just ruins any intensity this song could have had. Ruff, ruff.
Yeah, we pay.
Yeah, we pay.
Both Lil Baby and 42 Dugg have unique and distinct vocal timbres about them, and maybe I could tolerate one of them on a song alone, but both of them together just kind of clash, and it's unlistenable in the vocal department. Ooh, am I about to get some flame for putting her on this list? Hopefully not. First off, this is another example of a song just jacking the entire drum loop from In My Feelings. And I have to bring up that song again, so that's a minus. But there's also YG doing a guest verse. Do people actually like him?
Need a vacation. I need my bitch in an apron. Booty all out cooking bacon.
So stay in the kitchen, cook it up, cut your own bread?
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak.
And you light up my life.
Little known fact is that the biggest song of the 1970s was none other than You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone. Despite not being well remembered in the 21st century, its influence as the biggest movie soundtrack song of all time has endured, as big blockbuster movies are always looking for big singles to accompany them as they hit the box office. Even if, like You Light Up My Life, the song surpasses the movie. For over 50 years now, there's been songs that get huge for movies of all genres. Sci-fi, comedy, whatever Armageddon is. But there's one movie that is relevant to what I'm about to discuss. Cocktail. For those of you who, like me, haven't actually seen Cocktail, it was a movie released at the end of the 80s starring Tom Cruise, It was not a huge box office hit. What was a big hit, though? After not having a hit song for over 15 years, the Beach Boys had a #1 single in 1989, proving that even the least important of movies could revive an act's entire career if it had one successful song off the soundtrack. And in this, the year of 2020, the biggest movie of the whole year had a successful single that revived an act that had been dormant for almost 9 years. Whenever we talk about bad music, the conversation always circles back to the Black Eyed Peas.
Ritmo.
In the United States of America, we've had turbulent race protests, a contested election bringing people to the brink of war, and a goddamn pandemic. But somehow this is all topped by the Black Eyed Peas, a group no one likes, being brought back from the dead. The Black Eyed Peas are a lot of things, but one key characteristic that boils my blood is that they seem to have no respect for music. will.i.am's composition method is like taking 10 different sounds that have nothing to do with each other and throwing them into a blender because it sounds catchy. So they know that getting hits is a fine substitute for being liked, but sometimes this goes way too far. They've crossed this line before, like in Dirty Bit when they massacred the Dirty Dancing sample with an ugly farting synth drop. And they seem to have done the exact same sample massacring again on Ritmo, but twice. The first line of the song, and the one that gets repeated, is from Rhythm of the Night by 90s house group Corona. Well, that song was good because the hook was fast-paced and had life to it. The Rhythm of the Night was fun and a thing. You can't just will a fun nighttime song into existence by stealing a hook and draining it of anything that made it good. The second sample comes with the drop. That samples the drop from You Know You Like It, a sleeper hit in 2015 by French producer DJ Snake. And that song had an actual build-up that was very weird and made what would be an awkward vocal drop become a welcome counterbalance to the noisy overload in the rest of the song. The vocals are stripped and are replaced by plonking keys that are dull and, once again, have no personality. At this point, Ritmo should just be renamed to Gitmo because of the torture I have to face hearing these songs kept imprisoned. The stealing of ideas and watering them down isn't exclusive to the samples. In fact, the entire song is one disgusting artistic bank robbery. I've seen certain acts completely change their style in order to suit a certain trend. Hell, the Black Eyed Peas did it for ringtone rap. But I've never seen such an embarrassing attempt to trend ride. The old Black Eyed Peas were bad, but they at least rubbed it in your face, gave something for you to latch onto. Here, it's just watered-down reggaeton made by Americans. They barely try to rap in Spanish, and the moments they do make me wish they didn't, as they just end an English phrase with a Spanish word to fit the rhyme scheme.
Baby, tonight's like fuego. We bout to spend a dinero. We party to the extremo.
Since I brought up lyrics, let's remind everyone how horrible the Black Eyed Peas are at lyrics, with a highlight clip.
I'ma be a brother, but my name ain't Lehman. I'ma be a bank, I'll be loaning out semen. Let's get retarded. Let's get retarded in here. And mix your milk with my cocoa pup. Milky, milky cocoa. Mix your milk with my cocoa pup. Milky, milky, right?
See, the thing about all of those lyrics is that, like their sound, at least they get a reaction out of you. Whether it be amusement, anger, or pure shock at how someone could be that dumb. A reaction will be had. Here, the lyrics are basic and yet still embarrassingly insulting. Only 2 of the members of the Black Eyed Peas are actually on this, with will.i.am having the aforementioned Spanglish mishap, but then he has his rap verse, and I remember #rap being a thing. You know, when rappers say a phrase and end it with a punchline that almost makes sense? This is probably the most famous example.
And I got a grocery bag.
But will.i.am is doing something a bit different. Instead of a phrase then punchline, he's doing punchline then the related phrase.
Yo, Tupac, I get around like a merry-go rooftop. I am on top of the pedestal, flu shot. I am so sick, I need medical. Hootop, I learned that shit down in Mexico.
will.i.am is actually trying to make reverse hashtag rap a thing. Okay, let's just move on to the other guy. Apple the App, also known as Wait, Who's That Guy? Gives the final verse, and if you didn't think things could get even worse, you're about to be proven wrong.
That's how we do it, we build it like Lego.
Has he ever actually built Legos before? I mean, you usually don't rebuild things, just make new buildings.
Feel on a fire, you're dealing with fuego.
Sorry, bud, will.i.am already took that line from ya. Maybe you can try again?
Can't stop, I am addicted, I never quit. Won't stop, don't need to speak to no therapist.
Why would you use this as a flex?
Don't stop, do it like whoop, there it is.
What? I have no idea what this is. For the first time, I have no idea what the fuck a lyric is supposed to mean. You know what? Take back that thing I said about Drake with his 2468. I'm giving the worst lyric of the year award to the Peas. And also the worst hit song of the year award, because 2000s nostalgia is apparently powerful enough to bring back anyone. I'm Romulus, and I'm leaving before they get another hit.
Ritmo.
You like that space?